a quick stream right quick. So, now the hottest, excuse me, the hottest story that's going on is this thing with Oscar Valdez and him testing positive for a banned substance. And of course, him and his team trying to basically, to me, insult people's intelligence by saying, oh, it was some herbal tea that I drank that had the banned substance in it. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's about the company you keep. It's about the company you keep and who you surround yourself with. The reason why a lot of people refuse to anoint or make Canelo the outright or consensus number one pound per pound because he has popped dirty for PEDs. Now, the funny part about it is I laugh because when you are a content creator and you like to bring this stuff up, well, it's not about like, it's about you bringing this stuff up because you have the right to report the news that best fits your channel or the type of media that you do. I want to put everything out there. But I think Oscar Valdez would have been better off saying nothing at all. But this is what they do. Um, from Canelo, it was the meat I ate. Well, maybe you need to get your meat somewhere else. To Oscar Valdez, well, it was some tea, and I did some research. Like I said, it just sounds absurd. And I laugh at the fact that you get people that, and particularly certain group so-called fans or subscribers, are just people that want to troll and try to tell you what type of content to make and try to, tell you, well, it's not a big deal. Yeah, it's not a big deal because more than likely you're Mexican and the fighter that got popped is Mexican. And once again, you think you finna come on a black channel and think you finna try to cyber bully somebody, which you can't. You won't. At the end of the day, um, Valdez popped dirty. And you could holler about, well, he's not really cheating and all that kind of stuff. Well, I wonder would you have the same sentiments if it was a black person? No, you wouldn't. You would be sitting up here trying to call yourself laying down the law, trying to tell me what type of videos to make, which, by the way, I will ether your ass. Don't come on here with that stuff because I don't play them type of games. But that's what you have. And then Devin Haney comes out and says, hey, man, I think you're all suspect. From Ryan Garcia to, well, Canelo, you can't say Canelo's suspect because Canelo already been popped. To Oscar Valdez, Andy Ruiz. You know, I'm just trying to think, is Reynoso the plug? Because he must be the plug, you know. And you do have to admit, Canelo, as of late, as he's went up, he's went up in weight. All of a sudden, Canelo's punching ability and power has went up. Okay, you have to at least admit that when you start breaking orbital bones and all that kind of stuff. And Canelo, keep in mind, Canelo never really hurt Miguel Cotto, never really hurt Sugar Shane Mosley, and he hit both of them flush. Never hurt him, never on the verge of going down. Um, couldn't really hurt Daniel Jacobs. But when he fights certain type of fighters, then he get this tremendous strength. And for Caleb Plant to basically have to force him to enroll in Vada to get this fight did. Now, I want to see how much power he's going to have when the Caleb fight goes down. I want to see how much power he's going to be able to accumulate when the Caleb Plant fight take place. Will he look the same? Because I'm tired of people acting like you got to watch what you say. Because I'm really getting tired of these trolls. I ain't gotta watch what I say because Canelo Mexican. If you Mexican and you don't like what I have to say, keep your motherfucking ass off my channel. You can't intimidate me. You can't cyberbully me. You don't like what I have to say too fucking bad. Keep your ass off my channel. It's that simple. Nobody's gonna dictate to me what to talk about. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna watch what I have to say because you Mexican. I'm not gonna watch what I have to say about any fighter. I don't care whether they black. I don't care whether they white. I don't care whatever color they is. Not gonna watch what I have to say. If I have something to say, it's gonna be said. But there is something in the water, or should I say, it's something in the meat, it's something in the tea. Ryan Garcia's body transformation, Canelo's body transformation in between fights. So it's, in the words of the X-Files, there's something out there. There's definitely something out there. And shout out to Devin Haney. And shout out to Devin Haney for saying, you know what? All of y'all is on that stuff. All of y'all. Now, like I said, I know Devin Haney gonna get attacked. And I know people gonna try to bring up stuff that ain't got nothing to do with Devin Haney. Like I said, they're gonna try to bring up the Lomachenko stuff again. But like I said, keep in mind, Canelo said the same thing. He said he can't see himself losing to a white boy and Caleb Plant. But like I said, nobody jumped on that. Because like I said, people are finicky about what they want to talk about. And that's just the bottom line. You are using supplements that give you an extra amount of energy. It turns you into, it keeps your stamina up, turns you into the Energizer Bunny. So you are allowed to, not get gassed and still be able to throw a lot of punches and effectively still have a certain amount of power. Because as fights go on, when you start getting gassed in fights, sometimes your punches lose a lot of steam. You have, for the most part, in a fight, you're most dangerous if it's a 12-round fight. You know, the first 6 rounds. But then sometimes if you pace yourself, you still could accumulate power in the later rounds. That's why sometimes people don't start. That's why sometimes certain fighters, they don't start getting going to like the 4th, 5th, 6th round even. Some fighters predicate themselves being like, well, I'll just at least keep a steady pace the first 4 or 5 rounds, and then maybe after the 5th round, that's when I'll, start letting it hang. Because some fighters like to take the late rounds. Some fighters like to be like, well, I want to secure like the first 5, 6, 7 rounds, and then let the guy play catch up as long as I don't get knocked down during the process of the fight. Then I should be good. So it all depends on what the fighter trains for. That's why they call it a game plan. That's why going into a fight, you have a game plan. Like how you going to execute your game plan. Boxing is just as mental as it is physical. That's why they call it boxing. That's why they have such a thing called a boxing IQ. So, all right. Like I said, getting back to Oscar Valdez, like I said, I'm not buying what he's selling. To me, it just sounds ridiculous. But like I said before, people think media is stupid. In most cases, print media were robots. They would just print anything you tell them. But social media is a little bit different because when you don't work for nobody, when you don't have an editor, somebody that you don't have to report to, that, don't pay your salary, where basically you pay your own salary based off views and subscribers, that's a little bit different. So you can be a little bit more opinionated because you know why? You don't answer to nobody. But print media, you know, and TV media, they have people that they answer to. So that's why they'll take a story and they will basically say whatever the producers or executive producers want them to say. It's not based off his own opinion, it's based off what they want them to say. So, yeah, that's the difference between me and ESPN and Sports Illustrated and magazines like that. I can say whatever the hell I want to say. And I like it that way. And it should be that way. But no, I don't believe that absurd story about the tea and stuff. Like I said, it just come down to them just, they got popped, instead of them just saying, hey, you know what, I got popped and this what happened and all this kind of stuff and I shouldn't have did it. They just trying to insult your intelligence. So that's pretty much what's going on. Yeah, boxing is just falling by the waistline, and a lot of people don't want to accept the truth. Like, it's a lot of blame to go around. It's enough blame to go around on everybody. You know, let me move on to the next subject. Okay, so let me talk about this. Um, let me talk about this Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter situation. Now I talked to Kenny. Kenny gave me his interpretation of what's going on, and I listened to Kenny and I reported what Kenny had to say. Now, my thing is, I understand where Kenny is coming from. Kenny is going to always remain loyal to Al Heyman. So, whatever the case may be, um, he's not going to put anything on Al Heyman because that's his friend. They're both from the same place. So, whether there's some bias in it or not, well, that remains to be seen. And I'm not going to knock Kenny for protecting his longtime friend and Al Heyman. That's what he's supposed to do. But somebody like me that's looking on the outside of the perspective, um, I don't see it that way. Because like I said, I felt like a lot of fights could, should have, been made. But like I said, you got politics, you got people being petty, and this is going to continue to go on until the fans demand it, until we put our foot down to say we're not gonna go for this no more. Because like I said before, if we got the fights we wanted, there wouldn't be no fake Paul. There wouldn't be no Logan Paul. This wouldn't be going on. But we can't get the fights we want. And then you got um fanboys and fanatics strictly wanting to put this on one person, or don't want to, you know, accept the fact that there are a lot of people involved in this. Like I said before, I'm not getting a check from Al Heyman. I'm not getting a check from Bob Arum. I'm not getting a check from Eddie Hearn. Not getting a check from Golden Boy. I'm going to call it how I see it. Like I said before, I'm not going to sit up here and not hold Al Heyman and the PBC accountable for not getting certain fights made, installing, and doing the same thing that Top Rank was doing with the in-house fights. You know, now technically Al Heyman isn't a promoter, but he hires these guys, or he brings in these guys like, he used to work with Lou DiBella. He has a lot of these other promotional companies come in that he uses. Ringstar. Damn, what's the other one? Uh, GPB promotions or whatever they call, basically to help put together these fights so it don't look like Al Heyman is in violation of the Muhammad Ali Act. So that's what's going. So that's what's going on. They have both asked for more time to see can they work out a deal. I understand what Bob Arum is trying to do. He basically like, well, hey, if I can get the PBC to foot the bill for this fight and Bud wins this fight, he still owes me one more fight. So then I could set up the Josh Taylor fight. Then I understand the PBC perspective. Well, Bud isn't signed with us, so why should we pay Bud X amount of money to come over here and then he may possibly win this fight versus Sean Porter and go back to Bob Arum? At the end of the day, I'm just telling y'all, both sides of the coin. I'm flipping the hourglass, over when it completely runs out. So I'm turning it over. So I want y'all to see where both parties is coming from. Do I like what they're doing? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That isn't how you conduct business. That ain't how you do business. And like I said, this is a long going thing. This is why boxing has become a toothache, because you got guys that don't want to work with each other because of grudges and all that type of stuff. And it needs to stop. Now they're saying that the fake Paul fight did close to 1 million pay-per-views. Now, if you believe that, then hey, whatever. I think it did pretty good. But do I think it did 1 million pay-per-view buys? Absolutely not. They know for enhancing numbers. Well, I don't want to say what I don't want to go into deep detail. It's a money issue. It's a money issue. They want a certain amount of money. They're looking for a certain amount of money. And the thing is, Bob Arum wonders if he can pay out this type of money to promote a fight to somebody that's not a top ranked fighter, whether Bud wins the fight or not, because at the end of the day, they want to turn a profit. I've said this before. To make money, you got to spend money. Okay? I think if this fight is promoted right, I think you can get some good ticket sales, and I think you can get some good pay-per-view sales. But that's where Bob is coming from. They want to see, can this fight sell? They don't think this is a pay-per-view fight. Well, I think it could be, due to the fact that Bud has fought on pay-per-view. Like I said, if you promote this fight right, it'll do good numbers on pay-per-view. It just comes down to how bad PBC wants this fight or doesn't want this fight, or how bad Top Rank wants this fight or doesn't want this fight. This fight, like I said, could be picked up by the Zone or Showtime. Somebody could come out of nowhere and bid on this fight. But at the end of the day, however much they bid on this fight, Bud is guaranteed 60%. So like I said before, what's going on seemed to be a money thing. And it comes down to how much Sean Team Porter is asking for. I didn't want to ask Kenny how much money they looking at or how much money they want, because at the end of the day, there is a such thing as possibly pricing yourself out and purposely pricing yourself out. Now we ain't gonna know until there's an actual purse bid, or if this fight falls apart. You've been hearing that Sean wants $5 million. And from what I found out today, obviously they're not taking 1 or 2 million for this fight. So the big issue is money. Yeah, boxing has became wrestling, and it's terrible. Unfortunate. All right, you guys. I gotta get some rest. Thanks for tapping in. Be back later.